we're back. We return to the workroom following our ciao for now to Zahira's Apanta. Everyone gathers around the mirror to wipe Zahira's void off and head back to the sofas. 3 cheers for Elisa, who got last week's badge and win. Octavia thanking the Grand High Gods of the Frocks. Chanel comes for Kieran and Charity joins in. We learnt that Chanel is the queen of the monologue. Charity is such a little sweetie. I really hope they win something soon. I don't want them to go. Next day, back in the workroom. There's a little bit more space for the group and the herd has started to thin out. Will Chara be the queen of safe who snatches the crown at the end? It's never happened before, so I'm honestly not that convinced. Ru is back with a new suit. That's almost certainly made from the wallpaper in your downstairs loo. Look at it, hey? Look at that. We're joined by Raven, who's toned down the tan this series. Not much, but a little bit. It's the big red chair, but now, of course, it's pink. And the game is to make Ru and Raven laugh. Lavoie is ejected first. Octavia is at least honest that she's not funny. Marmalade has jokes on my level. Terrible. In fact, most of these are pretty terrible. I don't know what the idea was for this, to be honest, but asking people to be funny on the spot is tough. And then for them to deliver a joke, it's even worse. Like, honestly, it is horrendous. I don't really know who won. I'm not even really sure how these mini challenges work when it comes to the show. More that they sort of set the travel for the episode a lot, you know. So Kiki wins the mini challenge, which then means she gets her first win and she gets to pick who goes in which team. And this week, the main challenge is chatting. Graham Norton will be sitting down with each of the queens for a little chit-chat. Kiki gets to decide who sits with who. And she makes the mistake of not really thinking about who is going with who. When you're given the power to choose, it's so that you can be strategic about where you put yourself. RuPaul does this to help you. And Kiki has put herself with 2 of the biggest talkers in the competition. Lavoie particularly. When they're chatting with Ru, she makes it clear she's surprised that Kiki is in the big group. And then with all the bigger personalities. But she does try to help her by letting her know she's got what it takes if she just lets herself do it. Which is great advice, but it is so incredibly difficult in the moment. I do really love this though, when Ru lets the girls know that they're stars and that she also gives them really clear advice. Chara also gets a really good talk from Ru. Chanel's propensity for over-talking is also highlighted, and Ru gives her advice while also giving Octavia advice. Keep it concise. I have a bit of an issue with rambly-bambly chitter-chatter myself. I have to really allow myself to sort of construct the sentence in my brain before I start talking, or I end up down some like weird linguistical cul-de-sac. I have to really think about it before I start talking. And I think that's what a lot of these girls could do with. Now we're back in the workroom. Kieran and Lavoie are talking, and it is serious. We, the LGBT community, drag queens, we get called groomers all the time. And it's even more hurtful when you've really been through it. People who should and do know better and take advantage of your inexperience and naivety. It's really, really brave of Karen to talk about this on a national platform. And I hope that the person responsible is locked away forever and rots in jail and hell, and I'm sure that they absolutely will. I really hope that Karen is able to get some proper mental health help and find ways to deal with it and let it go. Next day in the workroom, Karen gives us some Mr. Crab, come on SpongeBob references, and Lavoie is being mummy again and hyping up Chara. Then Chanel floats the question, who would you want to interview? I think I'd want to interview Kate Bush or Tori Amos. Like, they're both super smart and super interesting. I'd like to know who your choice would be. Who would you want to interview? And then we've got Octavia proving once again she is the queen of cultural references with Holly Jervis. Bring on that pecan pie. Pour some sugar on the mug and don't be shy. What an icon Holly Jervis is. Chanel wants Sean Bean because she's got the hops for him. I mean, why not? Chara finally shading Chanel back. Then Chanel chooses violence. It's runway time. Ru looks incredible in this silver dress and white wig, like the White Walker you want to go for a party with. She looks incredible. Michelle with that very rare Mariah Carey hair, looking gorgeous. Graham in a silver jacket and the glorious Claire from Steps. Claire Richards, we love you, Claire. It's interview time. I've got to say, when Lavoie walks in, she walks in a bit like Cher in Mamma Mia 2. You know? The sofa is a little bit cramped, to say the least, and Karen looks like he's about to sit on Lavoie, who has to do the truffle shuffle to get enough space. Lavoie also gets the first question, and it's about weddings. Like, I've got to be honest, I do not enjoy doing weddings. I just don't. It's such a mix of people, and there's always, you know, some homophobic uncle in the corner. Most people don't really want to be there. And apart from the food, that's the only reason that they really want to be there. They've spent loads of money on hotels and travel and presents, and now they're going to be abused by some fella in a frock? I don't think. Unless it's a gay wedding. Then that's different. Because people come and they're like, oh, it's a gay wedding. They're fun, aren't they, the gays? It'll be fun. Ooh, it'll be so much fun. And it's always the same. Kiki is next. And this is a great story about jumping out of a plane. But she feels like she's very nervous and it's just a bit stilted. The jokes are there, they're ready. But she sidesteps every single one of them right at the last minute. Karen is up next. I'm not really sure what this story is about. I don't know what the point of it was. Lil is letting us know that she's actually Jesus. She is the spider pig of the drag world. I'm not sure the story is funny. But there's something so endearing about Lil that I'm just very happy to just listen and laugh anyway. You know, there's just something so lovable about her. Marmalade is next, talking about her hobby. I've had a couple of them. And there's a little bit of a joke for each part of the story. It's really smart. Lavoie is chipping in here and there, but effectively. She's doing it, and so she's leaving the ground open for Graham to drop jokes in as well. It's a really good showing. Everyone's done a decent job, I think. And now the next group is up. Octavia talking about performing and partying. Missing her train home because she was so drunk. It's not quite what we were hoping for, is it? And you can feel Octavia sort of running around, screaming internally, help me, help me, help me, as not a single bit of the story sort of lands. Chanel is next. It's a confident and strong start. A story about a hookup with a replica alien thrown into the mix. It feels almost like there's a story and we're getting to the climax, and unlike for Chanel, it just doesn't quite happen, does it? We're just left unfulfilled. Cara is next. She's so likeable. There's something about that Northern Irish accent that is just instantly lovable. So she has a bit of a head start on everyone else, I think. And a bit of self-deprecation also helps. I've been racking my brains for weeks about this, wondering if I got it wrong. Because I'd said on a live that I'd seen her, doing Huddersfield. And then she's like, oh yeah, I'm in Northern Ireland. And so I was really confused. But she talks about Huddersfield. So my fears have finally been put to rest. And it wasn't early onset. I was right. The joke does have a punchline. It just doesn't quite hit like it should. And I tell you what, I know how that feels. Relisa is giving the boys the boners. She's the girl with a little bit more. I mean, she's so sexy. Cara is continuing to be really relatable with a mum who loves Cliff Richard. I mean, my mum loves Cliff Richard. And now it's runway time. How's your headpiece? It's very small and silky. Marmalade is first up, and she's in this silver outfit, which is beautiful, interpreting the challenge and staying true to her personal aesthetic. I think it's great. I think I'd have preferred something other than the stretch lycra for the body, because it looks a little cheap. And it's not cheap either. It's, £20 a metre. But it's such a small detail that it's not really noticeable. Kiki's up next in the penny drop sequins. And this is giving like 20s jazz singer, like Shug Avery. I'm just not sure about the headpiece and the dress, that there's that much of a connection between the two. Like, it looks nice, but I'm not sure it looks like a look based around the headpiece. It's more like two pieces put together, because it'll work. Lil is giving us a gothic velvety piece with a really amazing head face construction inspired by Schiaparelli. I love this. It's a bit like Kyron's entrance look, but for the moneyed, with the centipedes up and down it, tying the gold headpiece into everything in the outfit. I think it's really smart, and she looks really incredible. Lavoie is giving us Carmen Miranda. It's very old school, and the feathers are amazing. Kyron is next. This latex bodysuit with molds of part of the head all over it. It's an actual headpiece outfit. Like, it's smart and creepy and weird and very Kyron Thrax. All the details are right there. The bag to the boots, the nails. This is a great idea, and it is executed beautifully. Chanel is next up. This is another really beautiful look. The dress is really something. Like, you could imagine it in a scene from Dallas or Dynasty. It's got those big 80s puff sleeves and the asymmetrical neckline, and it's trimmed in that beautiful gold, and it looks really gorgeous and expensive. The headpiece is lovely and ties in really well. Relisa is next up, and this feels very rise like a phoenix. The metalwork around the headpiece is really, really beautiful. And the only thing I would have liked a bit more is for some of that in the outfit. The wings and the tail are great. I'm not super keen on the leotard. I think it's a bit simple compared to the rest of it. And it could have been elevated. She does look hot though, I mean, she says it herself. I look hot like fire. And she really does. Octavia next up. And I really like this outfit. I really like it. And I think she looks great in it. I love the A's all over it. It's super smart. I'm just not sure that the headpiece does what you need for the runway theme. It's a bit small and doesn't quite do it. Chara is next, a broken gumball machine. This is such a great idea and I really like the execution. I think there's like a foam pool noodle or something under the bottom of the skirt and that makes it move slightly strangely. So I think it would have been slightly more successful with like a tulle underskirt underneath to help it keep that shape and allow it to move more naturally so that it doesn't have that sort of weird swing going on. Like I get that it's supposed to be the bottom of the machine, so it has that sort of solid structure. I'm just not sure it works that well as a dress and with the movement. It is just another really great outfit though. This week, Kyron, Chanel, Relisa are safe, meaning Marmalade, Lil, Kiki, Lavoie are the tops and bottoms. Marmalade gets great feedback, Lil too. Kiki gets the feedback we sort of expected, and I think if we're honest, she expected it too. Lavoie aced it, and I am so glad she's having that moment. She really deserves it. Octavia didn't, but her runway did tell a really gorgeous story. Chara gets gorgeous feedback and it makes me so happy because she's so adorable. So even though she didn't ace it, she did great. Back in Untucked, Lavoie has been seen and it only took a giant neon headdress. Chara isn't sure she's safe, but for me, it felt like she really was safe, you know? I thought she got really nice feedback. I don't really get it. Anyway, I know that we're down to brass tacks, but she did do the best in her group. Kiki breaks down about her feedback, and, you know, I get it. It's so hard when you're in that situation. It's really difficult to articulate yourself sometimes, especially, and I'm not saying that she is, but you know, if you're like a neurospicy kid like me, and the washing machine brain is going and all the ideas are crowding in, then chat shows can be really hard, especially if you don't feel really comfortable immediately. They just don't work that well. You know, if you're a little bit nervous or you're not centered properly, I mean, hell knows I've done enough of them where I've totally fluffed it and I've frozen. Because in the moment, I'm just having, you know, like the iTunes Wheel of Doom. That's what's happening. Just this rainbow wheel going around in my brain. And when that happens, you just have to chalk it up and chill. Chanel is saying how it was hard for her after Chara had mentioned she talks over people before the challenge. And then her thinking about that, considering what everyone has said about Chanel. This is wild. Like, this is wild to me. If it's something, as you say, you get told all the time, then maybe it's a learning and growing opportunity. You know? Hell knows I've had to say that to a few people in my time. I am speaking. I am speaking. Kiki, Chara and Octavia get to it with practicing the lyrics. We're back on the stage and Lavoie is this week's winner and I'm super, super happy for her. She's a proper pro and I really respect her. I like her so much. She's such a genuinely lovely person. Well done, love. Octavia and Kiki are lip syncing this week. Chara's voice in this fishbowl is cracking me up every time she speaks and it's like she's in the Batcave. Both these girls have been in the bottom already, so it's all to play for. This week as well, I got so nervous hearing Ru say lip sync for your lives. I don't know what it was, but my stomach just fell out and I was like, oh! This is, however, such a great lip sync from both of them. And they both serve it up in their own way. It's really, really strong from both of them. Octavia pips Kiki to the post. But honestly, I don't know how they chose because Both of them brought their own thing, and we had really beautiful moments from both of them all the way through this lip sync. It was really great. So we're getting down to it now. And next week is Snatch Game. I'll be in therapy this week in preparation, so don't worry about me. Poor Julia Child. I'll see you then, and let me know your thoughts and who you would want to do for Snatch Game. Go on, treat yourself. Like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye! And no, I haven't painted my nails.